All right, good morning, everyone. It is just before 9 a.m. this morning. I'm reporter Aaron Price, and we are tracking a day of what could be a very volatile severe weather event here in southern Illinois. Everything from large tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, and of course that flooding threat we've been talking about for days on end right now. It is just before 9 a.m. here in southern Illinois, and we are going to get right to the latest information this morning as portions of our region have been upgraded to a very rare high 5 out of 5 risk for severe weather this morning by the Storm Prediction Center. Let's go ahead and take a look at live radar right now. This is live radar, and as you can see there on your radar, those little red boxes you see over Missouri, those are 3 tornado warnings that have already been issued. These storms just now moving into the Springfield, Missouri area. These storms are going to progress throughout the afternoon into the Mississippi River Valley, into the Ohio River Valley, and eventually into southern Illinois around 3 to 4 o'clock this afternoon, maybe as early as 2 o'clock if these storms can develop out in front of the main line. So right now, again, we already have several tornado warnings, even a couple confirmed tornadoes already this morning over portions of extreme eastern Kansas, as well as extreme southwestern Missouri, I should say, near Joplin and near Springfield. So these storms are already on radar, they're already firing, and in one sense, the one good thing about that is that gives us a better forecast once the storms are already on radar, and we're going to get to that here in just a few moments. First of all, let's go ahead and take a look at our live feed right now over Marion, and boy, it is already quite windy out there this morning, and we're certainly seeing that so far on our tower camera. We're going to work on getting that pulled up for you. Here we go. So already very windy out there. You can tell by all of the movement on our sky cam right there, courtesy of ProTech Fiber. This is along Illinois 37, looking to the north, and those clouds are moving, the camera is shaking, and we could have wind gusts outside of the thunderstorms up to 45 miles per hour today. And the more clearing we see by later this afternoon, we can already start to see a little bit of clearing there in the clouds if you look up to the top of your screen. But the more clearing we see this afternoon, the worse that will be to set up a favorable environment for severe weather. I will say, as of this morning, the latest model data that we're seeing being run is showing more clearing to our south and a little less clearing the further north you go here in southern Illinois. So that could limit at least the tornado threat throughout portions of northern southern Illinois. But that is not going to help diminish the damaging wind threat, which will still be there for our entire region regardless of the tornado threat. Let's go ahead and dig into the models. We'll go ahead and take off that live cam and switch over to what our latest models that literally just ran a few minutes ago. This is the HRRR that I'm about to show you once we get that on the screen. So this is at 10 a.m. So this is about an hour from now. As you can see, those storms we just saw on radar, future radar picking those up right around Columbia, Missouri, extending in a line up to Galesburg, Illinois. Those storms will continue to move further to the east. Here is what the radar could look like right around noon. That's when you start to see those purple and pink colors popping up just east of Columbia, Missouri, into Rolla, Missouri. You take a look at those 3 cells down there in southeastern Missouri into central Missouri, just west of Rolla. Those little hooks on 3 of those cells, it's already wanting to pick up some rotating thunderstorms with those storms as they move further to the east. By the time we get to about 1 o'clock, they start to form in more of a line of storms. But take a look at this. So you're looking at 2 o'clock right now, and I think this is about the time we'll start to see storms approach southeastern Missouri and eventually cross the Mississippi River around 3 o'clock. But this particular model, right around 3 o'clock, is wanting to develop some cells out in front of the main line. You see those little dots right there to the southeast of Rolla, Missouri. You see another one up by St. Louis. That's wanting to develop some isolated supercells ahead of the main line of storms. If we see that develop, that would significantly increase our severe weather risk and our tornado risk, specifically here in southern Illinois. If we see those isolated storm cells develop in front of the line a little bit further south, say south of Cape Girardeau, we could see the tornado threat less in southern Illinois and more of a damaging wind threat here in our region. So that is something we're keeping our fingers crossed for. If we do not see widespread, substantial severe weather in southern Illinois, I think that is our only out as of right now, would be if we do not see those supercells develop in front of the main line, and if we do, they develop further south. I do think that will happen. Even this model is wanting to pick up on a cell by 2 o'clock, all the way developing out in Johnson County. Not saying that's going to be the exact location that develops, but this is what one particular computer model is wanting to put out there. So if we do see cells developing that far ahead of the line at 2 o'clock, those could become severe very quickly and produce long track damaging tornadoes up to EF3, damaging winds, and large hail. Here's 3 o'clock, here's 4 o'clock, here's 5 o'clock. The latest model run has really wanted to kind of delay this line into southern Illinois by a couple hours than what we saw early this morning. I still think storms will be crossing the Mississippi River by around 3 to 4 o'clock, definitely in southern Illinois by 5 o'clock. I think this model is running behind just about 30 minutes to an hour. So consider these storms about 25 miles further to the east than you see them on radar. By 6 o'clock, it has these storms in the heart of southern Illinois, and then by 7, look at that. It's really having those storms form into a very, very strong line there right over Jefferson, Franklin, Williamson, and Johnson counties. And if we do get that to form, we could see more of a squall line of storms as it pushes into western Kentucky. So all in all, just not a very good look right there on future radar this morning. Something we expected to see, not surprised, but boy, anytime you see those little white dots in the middle of those pink cells, that is extremely, extremely heavy hail. And some of those, like I mentioned, could be rotating as well. So that is certainly something that we are keeping an eye on this morning. And then by the time that moves to about 8, 9 o'clock, the storms push out of our area. Another thing I like to look at this close to a storm event is the lightning flash density. This tells us the areas where the strongest storms may be tracking. It's those little red and pink and purple lines you see there on your screen. So here's 1 o'clock. Here is 2 o'clock. And then by 3 o'clock, see those two little lines developing there in southern Illinois. If we see those little cells develop out in front of this main line, those are the cells that could be extremely large, deadly, and destructive tornadoes. We're talking EF3 or greater. We don't use that terminology very often. That's the same terminology the Weather Service used in their outlook this morning. Those are the rotating supercells that would have the potential to produce very strong tornadoes. By 4 o'clock, like I said, storms crossing the Mississippi River around that time. And then by 5, 6 o'clock, we have storms all throughout southern Illinois, some of which could definitely be severe, as well as some rotating supercells as well. And once again, it really picks that up around 7 o'clock and moves it out of our region by around 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest outlook this morning from the Storm Prediction Center. I know this is absolutely everywhere on social media this morning, as it should be. We are at a level 5 risk for severe weather in portions of southern Illinois. That's primarily along and south of Illinois 13. That would include Johnson, Union, Pope, Hardin, Alexander, Pulaski, and Massac counties in southern Illinois, as well as portions of Williamson, Saline, and Gallatin counties. Those are the areas under that level 5 out of 5 risk for severe weather. Areas like Marion, Carbondale, Harrisburg are kind of right on that cutoff line from a level 4 to a level 5. Just because you might technically be in a level 4, that does not mean you have any less of a threat of seeing severe weather than, say, if you live in Cape Girardeau or Vienna. So don't look exactly where that line is, because it changes a lot. But overall, a large majority of southern Illinois, particularly those further south, have a larger threat for damaging tornadoes. But everyone in southern Illinois is under at least a level 4 moderate risk, which we saw that issued. We didn't even see a high risk issued when we had the event that came through back in 2021 that produced the EF4 tornado in Tennessee and Kentucky. That was not even a level 5 risk day. This is a level 5 risk day. So that shows you how important this severe weather outlook is and how serious it should be taken this morning. This is the same outlook that I'm about to show you. It's just the National Weather Service's graphic. Might give you a little bit of a better idea for the exact areas. Once again, far southern Illinois included in that level 5 risk. This is the tornado outlook. This graphic also from the National Weather Service this morning. It has the same areas outlooked in that level 5 out of 5 for significant tornadoes this morning. If you live in Paducah, Kentucky, or have any friends that live in Paducah, Mayfield, all the way down to, I'd say, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Sikeston, Missouri, those areas are going to be dealing with some extreme, catastrophic, I believe, flooding over the next 3 to 4 days after this severe weather threat. So whatever we do see, whether it be in southern Illinois, western Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, whatever we do see in forms of severe weather that could be damaging today, obviously that's going to have to be cleaned up. And whatever we see as far as flooding rains, once you add 8, 9, 10 inches of rain on top of that, that spells disaster. I'll just be plain with you for anyone that does end up with some severe storm damage from this. Unfortunately, it's really a double whammy is what it is, especially for areas along the rivers, right in the heart of the Mississippi and Ohio Valley, from Memphis, Tennessee, on up to Paducah, Kentucky, and into portions of southern Illinois as far north as Evansville, and even Louisville, Kentucky, I have concerns with seeing some significant flooding and severe weather from this event. Let's take a look at the timing. I know this is what everyone wants to know about. We talked a lot about it in the beginning of this severe weather update. Thinking around, I'd say as early as 1 o'clock, if we can see some of those isolated supercells develop ahead of the main line of storms, I'd say 1, 2 o'clock. If we don't see those develop quite as far to the east as some models are predicting, I think the main line will be making its way across the Mississippi River around 4 o'clock this afternoon, move into the heart of southern Illinois around 5 to 6 o'clock, and move over the Ohio River and out of our area by 9 or 10 o'clock later on this evening. I think we'll be completely done with the rain and storms for this first round by midnight tonight. So that graphic is from the National Weather Service. That gives you a good idea of what to expect as far as the timing for this event. Another very important thing, make sure you have multiple ways to receive emergency alerts for this event. There are 4 different primary ways you can receive emergency alerts. The first way is to make sure you have alerts turned on in your phone settings. That's very simple. Go to your settings. If you have an iPhone or Android, just search alerts. It'll pop up a little toggle bar there, and make sure you have weather alerts switched to on, and you will receive tornado warnings straight to your phone as soon as they're issued for your location. Another option is you can text your local EMA, Emergency Management Agency, for info on how to receive alerts. In Franklin County, you can text your zip code to 888-777. And in Williamson County, you can text alerts to 618. I believe that says 683. You can probably see it better than I can, 4676. And then another way you can stay informed for tornado warnings is to make sure you have a correctly programmed weather radio. And lastly, we'll be live all evening long with any tornado warnings issued in southern Illinois. We'll have live continuous coverage available on demand via YouTube and Facebook. Just search WFCN News as usual, as you probably might be seeing in this stream right now. Our YouTube streams tend to not lag as much as Facebook, so that's always a good option. If you do have to go to your shelter and you want to continue following these storms, we will have it live on YouTube as well. Just search WFCN News, and we'll have all that up later on this evening. We also do have some closures and delays that have already been issued for some local schools. I shouldn't say issued, have been sorry, we just had a little lag there, but so we have had several closures and delays so far this morning for Murfreesboro. Carbondale High School, I know, have already announced they're dismissing early, and I do expect several other school districts to announce that as well as we go further into the morning. So those are posted up on our Facebook page right now as well. If you have any comments, or questions, be sure to leave those in the comments section. We'll be able to hopefully give you an idea of the exact timing for your location. Not seeing any explicit questions on there so far, so hopefully all I've showed you kind of answers your questions. Overall, this hasn't changed too much. The big change this morning is just that level 5 risk that portions of our region were updated to overnight around 1 in the morning. Honestly, it kind of surprised me that the Storm Prediction Center did go with this upgrade. I thought they would keep it at level 4. It is extremely, extremely rare, about 1% of the time, to see a level 5 risk. So that is really concerning. Anytime we see that, we definitely want to make sure you are informed and you are updated with what to expect in southern Illinois. So one last time, the timing for this, as early as 1 to 2 o'clock if we see some of those supercells develop ahead of the main line, around 4 or 5 o'clock for the main line of storms moving into southern Illinois. We hope you stay safe. Again, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. We will be live if any tornado warnings are issued, and be sure to follow our social media for continuous severe weather coverage throughout the afternoon and the evening as we track severe weather.